Well, good evening. Good evening. Hello. Welcome to the Paris Prokopis Show. Ooh, I stuttered a little bit. Welcome to the Paris Prokopis Show. This is Paris Prokopis, and you're not, but that's just the way it goes. I'm here to talk about some fun stuff. As usual, I'm completely unscripted, and hoping you enjoy the ride. There's a lot going on, and let's get started. But before I do, I want to check out your comments down here. Oh, we've got Hilario, we've got Kim, we've got Darlene, Tracy Stefanski. So, and Christine. Oh, Christine, how you doing? She's running for school board to West Ellis. If you're in West Ellis, make sure you vote for Christine Klug for school board. Unfortunately, my good friend Carolina is not on the ballot, but there'll be other opportunities for her as time goes on. First thing I want to talk about today, obviously, there's a lot of attention paid to the video where I'm gonna pull this up. Oh, it looks like I'm having some technical difficulties with my videos, but that's all right. But there was a video of Joe Biden climbing up the stairs of the airplane, and there's a lot of steps there. I mean, I've tripped on my own steps. I'm not, faulting him in it, but he kept on stumbling, and he kept getting up and stumbling. He completely lost his footing, and that creates a lot of concerns. I'm just trying to figure out ultimately how he's going to be able to govern, especially internationally, when he appears so feeble and so weak. It's a concern. And I'm not saying this just to demean him because he's a Democrat. I'd say the same thing if it was a Republican in office who was looking so, I don't know. It's a big, big concern. And I think it's going to become a foreign policy issue very quickly here. And I also have issues with the fact that if something happens to him, look at who we have on deck. Kamala Harris, who was soundly rejected by her own party. The Democrats didn't even want her. And now we're going to be kind of stuck with her because I don't see Joe Biden having the mental capacity to make it 4 years. I know my Republican friends are going to get this, but I pray for his health because she's a hell of a lot worse. Some people say she's already in charge and everything else like that, but it's a sad tribute to our times. And then look who number 3 in succession is. We got Nancy Pelosi. So we got feeble Joe Biden. We've got extremist crackpot Kamala Harris. Yes, she's a crackpot. She was rejected by her own party, people. She didn't even make it through the primaries. And then we have Nancy Pelosi. That's our top 3 in succession. And you wonder why China is like, they're going to step all over this administration. And there's not a dang thing we as citizens could do about it. It's sad. We're kind of stuck with this mess. How do we get through it? But of course, the media is trying to sugarcoat everything. Yeah, fact check is false. Joe Biden did not fall in the steps of Air Force One. What actually happened was the Earth shook up and down very quickly due to the man-made global warming caused by the Trump administration policies. It is a fun joke, but think about it. We even have this guy, Bernie Sanders, our good friend Bernie. He's here. And Bernie's older than Joe Biden, and Bernie at least is together mentally. Some people say it's insane, but he's not mentally incapacitated. Joe Biden is not the same Joe Biden he was even 2-3 years ago, folks. It's a dangerous situation. Let me check some of your comments here. Oh, Hilario wants to come on. Yeah, let's have a change of pace. I'll bring you on in a little bit. So get yourself ready, Hilario. I'll send you a link. And Yeah, honestly, Christine is making a stance. She hopes that Joe Biden. I do. I feel sorry for the guy. I don't like his ideology and stuff like that, and you know, but he's being used by his own party. He was a means to an end just to get to the White House because all the extreme left wing, they want Kamala because she's a true believer. But I think there's a lot of people in the Democrat Party who are concerned about Kamala, but then there's also some who are doing things in an effort to kind of derail Joe Biden. There was let me pull up the article here. There's a Texas Democrat who and I'll share the article really quick. Share screen. Right here. We got let's get rid of these stupid ads. There we go. It says Texas Democrat's office reveals photos of crowded Border Patrol facility. And they basically have cages. And it says photos released by Representative Harry Quellers. He's a Democrat in Texas. They released by his office Monday revealed crowded conditions in a temporary Customs and Border Protection facility as the number of migrants trying to cross into the southern border grows. They started coming the minute it looked like Donald Trump lost the election. They were coming in droves. I don't even think this is Democrats trying to bring people over to vote. I think we're being invaded. A migration invasion of sorts. I mean, think about it. You look at some of the videos of the people crossing the border and the camera pans over. They're mostly all pretty well dressed. For people who made a trek from like Guatemala and from places way south of the border, supposedly walked all the way up here. They had one woman who was clearly obese. You know, you would think if she walked all the way from Guatemala, she would have lost a pound or two. That's an issue. I'm not saying that to demean her. I'm just saying, you know, this dog don't hunt, as Ross Perot used to say. It's a very scary situation. It's very concerning. So let's get let's get Bernie out of here. Bernie, we're bored with you. Bye, Bernie. Anyway, everybody wave bye to Bernie. Bye, Bernie. Bye, Bernie. Let's check in any more comments. Yeah, Bernie is obstructing. Yeah, sorry. I apologize for that. I'm doing a new thing. So I spent a lot of time not looking at the camera on some of my past broadcasts. So I'm trying to make sure I'm looking at the camera. So I've got gave myself the ability to do that and still see who I'm talking to and everything like that. So, but yeah, I know Ed is saying that we've been getting invaded for quite some time. Yeah, I think so. But to what end? Are they sending us their huddled masses, the people that they don't want? I don't know. We're not getting the best of every country. And I'm all for immigration. I have no problem with immigration. I'm a son of immigrants. And there's no problem with it. But clearly there's a problem here. But it's also we're also seeing the media hypocrisy in all this. Because remember, when Donald Trump was just following the laws that were already on the books as of, I think it was the Clinton administration, they had the laws on the books of separating families and stuff like that. Oh, he's keeping kids in cages. And really, they were in glorified Motel 6s. They weren't really in cages back then. I mean, there was still some crowding and stuff like that, but now there's actual cages. They're not allowed to take videos. So this Democrat congressman smuggles out photographs of the insides of some of these places. And then you also have a video of Project Veritas that's out there that has been going around as of today showing video of inside the facilities down there at the border. And it's just absolutely sad. And also the media, of course, is suppressing it because they don't want anything to look like, oh, Biden is a bad, Biden is a bad choice and everything else like that. Because it kills their credibility. But the fact of the matter, the media and the Democrat Party lied to us. So they lied to us. Well, we knew, but they lied to the people who voted for him, thinking, "Oh yeah, he's better than Trump," or "Oh yeah, he's been in office for 40 years." Blah blah blah. I remember the last couple of years of Ronald Reagan. Yes, I'm that old. Sorry, guys, but I was just graduating high school, and Ronald Reagan was, he was not as sharp as he used to be, and he was about 79, I think. 80, something like that. So he was much older, and he just, you could tell he was dwindling, but that was at the tail end of his presidency. And we also had George H.W. Bush in the wings. So, obviously the Democrats could stand him. The only time they ever liked George H.W. Bush is when it turned out that he didn't like Donald Trump. Then the media loved the guy. I remember at his funeral, they made it sound like, oh my, like he was the biggest hero since Martin Luther King, or any other heroic people that we had in our history, more important than Abraham Lincoln and stuff. It's like, where was this president? They hated him when he was actually president, but all because he was never Trump, and the rest is history. And the biggest reason he was never Trump was because of the fact that Jeb Bush was the chosen one. He was supposed to be the next great thing, and Donald Trump ruined that. But what are you going to do? Can't please everybody. Then of course, we've got so many other things happening in our world. Our society is changing. We're getting women's athletics invaded by men. I'm so glad my daughters are older now, well, over 18, and they're adults now, because I wouldn't want them in high school athletics having to compete against biological males. I mean, I like it or not, there is a difference. Well, Kristi Noem down in South Dakota, they sent a bill for her to sign, and then she's demanding some reworking of the bill down there. What is it saying? Republicans Governor Kristi Noem on Saturday demanding legislators pass a new bill banning biological males from competing in women's sports. Since November, I've been 9 and fairness on girls' sports at all levels, Noem tweeted. To pursue the strategy, I'm asking the legislators to pass a new bill on veto day, or I will call a special session. Let's protect girls' sports and fix the concerns with 2017. I'm not sure what it is, but the House bill in South Dakota bans biological males from participating in women's sports and establishes that there are only two sexes, a male and female, and inherent differences between men and women. They're right. Hello, science. On March 8th, Noem tweeted about her excitement to sign the bill, but Noem sent the bill back to the legislature due to his vague and overly broad language. No pun intended there, broad language. Okay, that was bad. According to the press release, it could have significant unintended consequences. For example, it requires student athlete to verify each year that a student is not taking and has not taken during their preceding 12 months any performance-enhancing drugs, including steroids. It continued. Part of the bill could foster an environment of lawsuits against educational institutions and athletes suspected of doping, and ultimately impose unworkable administrative burden on schools. And it makes sense. So we'll see how that goes. It's nice to see her. She's got some cojones, even though the bill largely is something that she probably will sign. It's okay, Christine. Yeah, I knew somebody would catch that. Yes, Canada down. Well, South Dakota is kind of over there. Okay, over there. It all depends on perspective. It really, depends on how the Earth is tilting at any given moment. Might be up, might be down. It's all a question of weight ratios. A 2-ounce swallow can't possibly carry a 1-pound coconut. Yes, there's always time for a Monty Python reference on my show. But seriously, Christy Nome, she is awesome. I hope she runs for president. I really do. I think she would be awesome. Well, I'm gonna bring on the show some young punk who thinks he's good enough to be on my show. He's not even Greek. If you were Greek, you'd be more qualified to be on my show. But let's see. So here he is, the ever so humble, ever so young Hilario Delio. Let's give him a nice round of applause.
Thank you, everyone. It's so great to be finally back on the great Paris Prokopis show. I mean, it's been a long time.
I haven't seen you in a while. Well, I hadn't seen you in a while, but I did see Hilario this weekend at the Conservative Political Education Conference here in West Dallas, Wisconsin, and I saw Christine there too.
It was such a wonderful event. You guys did an amazing job, really getting that together and bringing. I think the count was like 350 people at the actual event, from what the media said. So, like, phenomenal. And the
media said 350. Good, they got my message. No, they originally said about 100 people. It's like I said, no, we got the proof. We had people signing in and all that. But it was a good event. I agree. I think it was nice to see the energy. We had some great speakers there. And why don't you tell people what your experience was? I'm going to step away for a second because I've got to get my charger for my computer before I lose the entire show. I'll be right back.
Well, everything that has transpired is done so according to my design. It is now my show. Welcome to the Hilario Delio show. The experience that I had at CPEC was amazing. It was really good to see everyone again, just all in one room, catching up on everything that's going on in this crazy world that we're living in, hearing some very powerful messages coming from the speakers. We had a great lineup. We had Dan Miller, Senator Johnson. We had Brian Seil there, Bob Donovan. Just everyone and their brother was almost there.
Fighting Bob Donovan. I mean, he's retired now, but the man still. I mean, he's still got the fight in him.
I was, not too many people know this about me, but I grew up on the South Side, and he was my alderman. And many times I would see him walking the neighborhood, just with the police officer saying, all right, we need to fix this house up. We need to fix that up. Oh, this is ridiculous. And a few times I would go up to him and shake his hand. And especially since he knew my mom personally, it was like, so it's like, it's good to see him continue fighting even outside of the political arena. But yeah, overall, I was just happy to be there. One lady got mad at me. She gave me this dirty look because I kept running back and forth getting pictures from every angle. And when she gave me that look, I stopped and said, "Lady," I was ready to go off. Like, "Lady, don't even say anything. I'm volunteering. I'm part of the staff here." So, but
he was the paparazzi, for a minute.
Yeah. So that was my experience.
Well, it was nice to see it. One of the most impactful speakers was a gentleman by the name of Greg Stubbe.
Phenomenal.
I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Greg, if you're watching, I apologize. Actually, I'm going to have him on the show here in a week or two here. I think we're going to get him on here. Incredible, compelling story of, just of the fact that you can't judge people. We can't judge people. There's an old cliche that I always lived off of: be careful of the ass you kick today, because it may be the ass you kiss tomorrow. And you've got to learn. You're young. You've got to learn from experience that.
I'm listening. Oh, I can't see the live chat. So anyone who mentions me in the comment, I apologize. I can't respond back to anything that's being said. But
I can I'll put him on the window here. Let's see. We got Tracy stuff. Tracy, I saw Tracy. There was this young blonde girl. She was like 16 years old who had her hand up, and of course Tracy barges in and takes over to ask a question of Ron Johnson. Man, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. I'm just kidding, but Tracy is awesome. He's an alderman down in the West Dallas area, and all around good guy, regardless of the fact that he happens to be conservative. It's always a good thing. Same thing, with Christine and everything else. Kimberly says hello. How are you?
Well, hello, Kimberly. Good to see you on here. But going back to Greg Stubel, I mean, he talked about young people, and being that I'm a young person, I really appreciated his words, and he was really right. It's really sad that many of my peers, they are a bunch of turds, and those are his words.
In context, that Greg said, in the end, we're all just turds.
Yeah,
and that kind of thing. But you have to hear his speech in order to have some context to it. While you're talking, I'm going to put up Greg's website.
Oh yeah.
So you can check out some of his stuff. He wrote a book, and I think I want to give it attention because it's just conquer anything, a Green Berets guide to building your A team.
Yeah. So when he was, definitely check this book out and check out his website. Great speaker.
Here's his book. Are you seeing it? Yeah. Conquer Anything is the name of the book. Yep. A Green Berets guide to building your A team. I love the A team. B.A. Baracus and Hannibal Lecter, and not Hannibal the Cannibal.
Not Hannibal the Cannibal. But yeah, it really resonated with me, his words. And I actually, after because he was walking around and talking to everyone throughout the event, and I walked up to him and I said, as a young person, I really appreciate what you had to say, and your words of wisdom really push people like me and the young lady who was 16 at the event, to want to be active, want to be involved, and really help change the community that's in our vicinity, or in our just sphere of influence, and make it better. So
Tracy, I would never say that, but if I ever did, it would be a term of endearment, just like I'm just a crazy Greek,
So
yeah. By the way, Darlene Wink says she's known Bob Donnell since he was 18 years old. Darlene, you're much younger than that. So
did she mean Bob Donovan?
Oh, Bob Donovan. I was thinking Bob Donnell. It's like Bob is 80 years old. It's like, okay, good. Whew. Sorry. Yeah. Speaking of Bob Donnell, 80-year-old, still in the fight. He's kicking ass. Once again, he's, slow down like a lot of people do at that age, but he's still in the fight. He's still kicking asses, still inspiring these events. And, some people say, oh, he's an old curmudgeon, he doesn't know, he's a crazy old fool, whatever. Yet people listen to him and they still come to his events.
Just look at the chicken burn. Just evidence there itself. Bob is an inspiring person.
Darlene is a time traveler. But think about it. Let's have a deep conversation. What is time? We don't know what time is.
Time is.
I guess wait, we do. Time is the thing between paychecks.
I mean, it could be. Could be. Time is what you make it too.
Yeah. Well, one of my takeaways from him was prejudging people and stuff like that. And one thing I always say is it's one of my mantras, whatever. It's on my website and stuff like that. I talk about how I never try to change somebody's mind. Because my philosophy is if I change your mind today, someone else will change your mind on Thursday. But if I give you the information as I see it, give you time to think about it, digest, in time, you'll change your own mind. And if you change your own mind, I've got an ally for life. And that's where we need to stop. We need to stop this. And I'm almost done with it. It's taking me a week to write this article because it's like thoughts scattered, plus all the stuff going on in my life, but thoughts scattered. I'm talking about that. We cannot defeat cancel culture. Nice segue into my next topic. We can't defeat cancel culture by engaging in cancel culture.
Just adding fuel to the fire.
Right. And what's happening is, Facebook is liberal. I'm leaving Facebook. I can't do it anymore because they canceled Donald Trump, so I'm not going to be on it anymore. Or Twitter, or Parler. They canceled Parler, so I had the same knee jerk in it. And I'll admit it. I'm fallible. I'm human. When Apple got rid of Tinder off of their app store, Twitter off of their app store, not Twitter, Parler. When they got rid of Parler off of their app store, yes, it was a Freudian slip. No, but they got rid of Parler. My knee-jerk reaction, screw it. I'm never buying another Apple product again. And then I started thinking to myself, you know what? Apple makes good products. At some point, a lot of these companies have some liberal leadership. Not all of them, but a lot of them do. Are we just going to stop buying products? Are we going to do this? And Starbucks, a lot of liberals say, or a lot of liberals, with the liberal president, I'm not going to Starbucks anymore because the president's a liberal. Well, you know what? They have thousands of employees, tens of thousands of employees around the country. They're not all liberal. I promise you. I found one guy once again, prejudging people. I swear the dude was a complete liberal. I'm on my computer and I'm typing. And then I'm looking around. I had the Drudge Report on my screen. This is like 2 or 3 years ago. He goes, I'm sorry. I don't mean to make you think like I'm eavesdropping. He was just sweeping around the tables and noticed I had Drudge Report up. He was like, I love the Drudge Report. Turns out he's this big Ted Cruz supporter. And he made me look liberal. And it just, so you can't judge people. And even if they are on the other side, doesn't mean they're your enemy.
Right.
I could disagree. And the liberals need to learn this because it's a lot of the liberals who are engaging in this hate. I have to hate you. You shouldn't be allowed to speak. I have to silence you. And you're younger. You're just coming into this.
Well, a lot of my peers are participating in this cancel culture. And a lot of my peers are participating in this cancel culture, and it's almost like some of them, they don't really look into what they are doing. They just see everyone else doing it, so they're jumping on the bandwagon. It's just kind of mob rule. They want everything their way, and even if they get it their way, they're still not happy. They'll start turning on one another. Just look at like Looney Tunes, just Pepe Le Pew. Cancel. I grew up on
he
all
rests
that
in peace.
stuff.
We got to have a moment of silence for Pepe.
Take the head off.
We had a moment of silence. I disappeared for a second. Wow. Okay. Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah. David King. Hello.
hello, David. Good to see you here.
Uh-oh. Jacqueline Nicolay. Why is that gotta be white, yo? Oh my gosh. Oh, Ed.
But it's
The
just
King.
it's like I grew up on all this stuff: Dr. Seuss, Looney Tunes. What else? I mean, Mr. Potato Head. I mean, come on. What like when is enough enough? And it never will be with these people. So what we have to do, like you said, we cannot go into giving into cancel culture. Sure, we may not like everything that people like Cardi B say. But doesn't mean we want her canceled. We don't want to participate. We don't want to stoop to their level. Let them do whatever they want. Even you can hate it all you want.
Exactly.
You don't have to watch
Exactly.
it.
Yeah, the First Amendment is actually the freedom of speech in the First Amendment is actually there to protect speech we don't like.
Mm-hmm. Antonin Scalia said it best.
Yeah. Antonin Scalia. Wow. Rest in peace. Rest in peace.
That's another
Antonin Scalia. Uh-oh. We've got a fight between Jacqueline and Ed Delgado. We should bring you both on the show. We could get popcorn out and everything. Or who makes better coffee.
Oh,
and then Tracy, of course, Tracy brings a Black Rifle coffee. It's got to be multicultural rifle coffee now. Otherwise, it'll get canceled too. That's the whole thing. We can't say words. People have to stop being so offended. You can't say, now I'm betting at some point there's going to be some liberal Greek out there, and there's a lot of liberal Greeks who has an issue with Greek week at the average college.
This coffee covers.
Mr. King, I think you should chime in on this debate there.
As someone who doesn't drink coffee, I'll have to back out of this debate and just watch from a distance. I'll pull a Switzerland.
It's funny? I don't drink coffee either. Can you imagine if I had coffee? I would get hyper.
Could you imagine? Like when you drink coffee, it'd just be the polar opposite. Like you just very mellow, it's just very calm.
And Kimberly wins the coffee debate by saying El Delgado or the caramel coffee because he's the caramel conservative.
The caramel,
or is it caramel? We don't know.
Now that's a debate that would probably go on for ages.
Well, the average high school female athlete does have a pair of balls now. And, that is, it is so sad. Where are the
women groups?
Yeah. Where's the feminists? They're having men appropriating women's sports in schools. Where are the feminazis who would go after this?
It's like some of them, like some of these people on the left, they like some of these people on the left want like men to become women and women to become men. It's almost they're taking Dr. Ian Malcolm's philosophy from Jurassic Park, life finds a way, and just completely blowing it way out of proportion. And it's becoming a huge issue now.
And that's what, and it's let people be who they are. I don't like this, my 5-year-old is playing with dolls, so I want to chop off their penis because they identify as a girl. Parents are making these decisions. It's happening in California. This is huge issue. Yep. Get hyper. You've never seen me not hyper, Stone. I like it. And Stone, we still need to connect, by the way. We got to make it happen. I'm available Thursday. I could make it happen. So anyway, you know how to get a hold of me. All right. We got Sophia. We got another Greek in the house. Hello, Sophia. Huge problem for feminists. She's a woman. And she's
Mm-hmm. It's
and
like,
there's Jackie, pro-life feminist.
mm-hmm. I know that one of the things that I said when I was on Ed's show, uh, he was reading an article about a man who was defending his son, I believe, who was transitioning into being a female in order to play on female sports, and she was very young. Uh, and his stance was on it. Like, he wants to give his kid the best life he could possibly give them. And the whole idea was that, well, they want to, like, they feel that they, right now in their stage of life, identify as a female. So they're going to support them in any way they can, because what father wouldn't want to support their child in situations like people coming out of the closet as gay,
Yeah.
or wanting, let's say, for example, wanting to go serve in the military. There's some people who are like, well, I don't really want to see you go because, you know, if you go off to combat, you might die. Or I really want you to go because, you know, it's a great honor to serve your country. So what parent doesn't want to support their child in those situations? But it's one of those things that the kid, while in school, was kind of like an outsider. And one of the things I said was that there has always been a moment in time where that we were the ones that were the outsider. We felt left out or not included. Any moment, everyone has had this experience. I don't care what anyone says. They'll debate it left and right and say, no, that wasn't me. No, bullshit. It was everyone at some point in their life. So a lot of this goes back to a whole mental issue when being separated from your peers or friends. It can be mentally damaging and it's what pushes these people, these young kids and parents, to force their kids to change their lifestyle into that transition of becoming from a male to a female.
Yeah, well, I
And
guarantee there's a former alderman, or I always call her alderman because I know she hated it, and I did it just to rub it in. Who dressed her kid up as her young son up in girls' clothes. She chose to transition her child. Not the
that's
child may
wrong.
not have even wanted to, and you could.
And then
Long story short,
that will be messed up for the rest of their life. But go on.
Yeah, well, it is. It is, and that's what we're scarring them, not only mentally, but physically, to the fact that, okay, you're going to cut a 7-year-old kid's penis off.
Mhm.
They're not even old enough to wipe their backside, and yeah, it's and then the ones that are chemically castrating their kids who they don't want them to reach puberty
Mm-hmm.
and that kind of thing. I was a late bloomer. I was 36 when I reached puberty. I'm just kidding. But or maybe I'm not. I don't know. I'm not saying. No, but seriously, we're destroying a whole generation of kids, and we're also destroying other kids who are trying to enforce this as if it's normal.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not normal. You know, if you're an adult and you want to cut your junk off and you want to live if you're a man
Go
and wants
right
to live with a
ahead.
woman, you do you.
Free,
As long as I
that's
don't
your
have to
free
pay
will.
for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't want to pay for it, but yeah, you do you. You got the money, you go do it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a problem with it. And if you want me to call you ma'am, you and I can have that discussion
Mm-hmm.
as a transaction between two adults.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want the government forcing me to call you ma'am.
I agree.
But yeah, if somebody wants to be called something and they're respectful to me, you know what? I'll call them what they want to be called.
Mm-hmm.
As long as they're respectful of my wishes, I'll be respectful of their wishes. Great.
Mm-hmm. And
That's
that's
what you call.
and that's where these people that push for all this, like, transition and forcing people to, like, make this normal, like, their arguments kind of fall flat. It's like, well, why don't force younger kids? What if they want to change back, and then you totally damaged any aspect of that kid who's now an
There's no
adult?
going back.
There's no going back, and their life is now ruined. And unfortunately, this kind of leads into the whole COVID situation with the lockdowns, with suicide rates being so high, because these people, uh, being mentally scarred, they'll kill themselves, and it's sad. It's sad that happens.
At a young age, the suicide rate among young transgenders is extremely high. And I feel sad because there are some psychological issues and they're not getting the psychological treatment that they need. So
Mhm.
Stone makes a phenomenal point. When I was a child, I ran around the house mimicking my dog. At today's age, I guess I'd identify as a dog. Yes. Yeah, your life would be rough. Rough, 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 rough.
Call
and
me
David identifies as royalty, King David.
King David. Oh my God.
And Jackie says most men most men identify as animals. This is funny. We got some great engagement tonight.
Ed is a honey badger. He identifies as a honey badger.
Well, we got to wake up, because it isn't regular Democrats. It's these woke, crazy ass Democrats that have power in the Democrat Party. And that's what I say. Stowe, great question. He's saying, where does it stop?
It doesn't. Did not.
Yeah, where does it stop? So we need to stop it. We need to start electing as many conservatives as possible. And when we elect conservatives, it's the most. William F. Buckley had the most important role. The most conservative candidate that can win. In the whole school board race, we had the primary. There was one actual conservative candidate who ran, who had absolutely zero chance of winning. Zero. No, that's not the white power sign. That's just zero. Okay. Anyway, look up Eddie Murphy and buckwheat. You'll get it. But they had no chance of winning. So I started looking at this, and Deb Kerr in the Wisconsin Supreme Court race. I've met her. I've had conversations with her. She's engaging conservatives. She's always voted Democrat, and that's okay. I don't hate Democrats. I hope they don't hate me. And she agrees with a lot of the things that I agree with. There's a couple things that I don't agree with, but she's against like critical race theory. She's against she supports school choice from a practical sense. It's the law right now. It's the law. So we need to engage it. She supports all kids, no matter how they're educated. So there's something like that. There was a gentleman who came up after the event, after Deb Kerr spoke. So I talked about, she completely ignored my question. He asked her, what exactly was the superintendent do? That. Yeah. And her answer was basically, well, I want to give the power back to the municipalities, where it belongs. Great answer. He said, she ignored my question. Yeah. Okay. And she's a Democrat, so I'm not going to vote for her. I go, then you're going to basically guarantee that the crackpot. Yep. So he's going to allow the crackpot. She's the most conservative candidate who can win. Is she going to be perfect? No, but she's giving everybody at the seat at the table, not just the liberal union types, but it'll be middle of the road, right wing, everything. Everybody's getting a seat at the table. We're all here for our kids. We have a common element, and that's the way it goes. There he goes, Santeba. Ote.
But yeah,
but wait.
But it is fascinating that a lot of people are like that. They're so set in their ways that they refuse to okay, this person might be the better option than who's already there. I mean, that was the whole issue with Trump back in 2016. A lot of people were saying, well, do you really want the alternative, Hillary Clinton, or do you want at least someone who's running on the Republican Party? He's the nominee. So let's get behind him instead of stopping them any chance that they could get. So like
it's
we
called making
really
a
need.
grown-up decision.
Mm-hmm. So that's something that people got to kind of grow out of and just get used to it.
And just because someone's on my side doesn't mean they're beyond contestation. I get that. Trump was not perfect. There's a lot of things that I wish he had done. Unfortunately, spending is through the roof. But let's be honest, how many spending cut bills did Paul Ryan send him?
I don't think he sent any. I mean, it's just
nope.
He was one of those people that was just in there. I've been using this analogy all day about another person, but it's like the guy on the bicycle who's riding and everyone else is on the bike, and then he's the one who puts the stick in the wheel and just causes the bike to crash and then blames everyone else. It's like, what are you going to do? You're not helping the situation, you're actually making things worse.
Oh my gosh, Jackie and Delgado are agreeing on something. Samesies. All right. Sorry, I almost had to whip out the Rodney King video. Can't we all just get along? For all the old ladies, the kids. Yeah.
But it's just an interesting time. And
amen, Sharon.
On behalf of Wisconsin, we're sorry. We're sorry for the Republican Party.
I tried to get him out in a primary in 2016. Unfortunately, the candidate I was working for was not the best candidate, but it was something. The way I look at it, his checks didn't bounce. So, and Paul Ryan never hired me. So there. Anyway, I'm afraid of Dems using Joe as the bad guy for Kamala Harris to swoop in and be the savior. Honestly, that's effectively what's happening. Kamala is. Yep.
She's got some issues every time she's talking to every time she's talking to the media. I swear to God, she laughs. I don't know if she has like a nervous reaction and just that's what it is.
Nerves.
I mean, or if she has something.
I'm talking, okay. Okay, I'm talking, okay. Okay, it's my turn. I'm talking. She's the most condescending little
president.
Yeah, I would not. I mean, people are like, you don't like her because she's a woman. I just don't like her. I don't care if she's a woman or if she were, the ugliest man with a mohawk. I don't care. I don't like her. She's got a horrible, horrible personality. But
and someone mentioned I saw a video and I think it was them both getting off the plane together. It's like the president and vice president. They're not allowed to fly together.
I'm sorry. I thought it was just both of them getting off. I just had this horrible visual.
No.
Kamala and Joel sitting in a tree.
Well,
oh my gosh.
That's how she got the VP pick. We did it, Joe.
You never know.
And Joe doesn't even know what's going on. Who is this person?
Oh my gosh. Jessica Katzenberg. Yes. She's just as bad as our Secretary of Health and Human Services. It's like, okay, you want to put on a dress? Like I said, you do you, but don't go telling us about the science when you don't believe in chromosomes. So it's
Uncle Fester in a dress.
I gave Sharon a bad mental picture. Yes, I'm sorry. I went there. Sorry. It is here. Let's see if I can find an image to take your mind off of things. Do I have it in here? Oh, I don't have it in here anymore. Okay. Dang. I was hoping that I have it. But
the president and vice president are not supposed to be flying together, national security reasons, because if they, God forbid,
I think Nancy Pelosi is encouraging it.
She probably
if they both go, it's Nancy Pelosi. Ew.
Oh, Nancy Pelosi. You know,
Yeah.
I'll never forget when after the impeachment, when Trump was acquitted, she came walking out. She wasn't even to the podium yet. She's like, "Oh, I don't understand these spineless Republicans," and she just spitting through her mask. It just clearly spits flying all over the place. So the mask is keeping her there, and she's just going off. That lady needs help. She's one session away from a straitjacket, like half the people running the country now. It just
Well,
it's scary that these are the people. She is in the line of succession.
yeah. Number two.
So
Yeah, think about that. Well, guys, in order to help you guys with the vision of Kamala and Joe, here's something to get your mind off of that.
ah, Jesus Christ. My eyes.
You gotta have Bernie. Yep. And of course, let's have some fun. I'm sorry. Gotta see
God.
Ted Cruz. I struggle with him.
Monsters.
I think he's intelligent, but he reminds me of
Well, he's the
a
Zodiac
TV
killer.
evangelist, and it just not that, but it's just a TV evangelist or something. And it just praise the Lord if you believe in the Lord. Just there's something about him. Whatever. I'd love to have him on the Supreme Court or something like that.
I think it's the way he talks. I mean, being that he's from Texas and stuff, he really, you're right. He does have that like like preacher, Southern Baptist preacher, just, and the Lord said unto this day, God.
Yeah, that's what it is. Well, and I think, but we need people who are willing to fight, and he's willing to fight. And we need more Republicans to step up for every race. I'm talking school board and dog catcher and every smaller race, all the way up to the bigger races. We got to get out there. The problem, and I said this when I was speaking on Saturday, I said I had an interesting revelation when I was up on stage. When I said the Democrats never sleep. They never. And then I was like, wait a minute, vampires never sleep. And the crowd actually cracked up on it. But
well, it explains what.
That explains a lot. Now we know the truth. But they never stop. They keep fighting. We got to keep fighting. We always go to sleep after an election, especially this one. Oh, we lost. It's the end of the nation. No, we got to keep fighting.
We got to keep fighting, because if we give up, they win. That's what they want us to do. They want, and I know plenty of people that are like, "Oh, I'm never going to vote again." Shut up. You're stupid. To say such a thing. And I will debate people left and right and call them stupid, because the moment that you say that you're never going to vote again, they win. They want you not to vote. They want you not to get out and support one another or campaign for one another. And to your point, when you said that we need everyone running for all these positions, even if the race is unwinnable, run, because these people, these Democrats that are in these positions, his eyes are dreamy. These Democrats, these Democrats that are in these positions they like to campaign for one another, and that's what they do when they know that, oh, I'm not going to be beaten. Yoda, strong with the Force. They like I said, they like to campaign for one another, and they'll go to each district campaigning since they know that they're not going to lose. But if they have someone challenging them, they have to stay in their home turf. So that way it will at least open up other chances in different parts of the state for other people to win and unseat these Democrats. So it's like 4D chess moves that we got to be making.
Well, it is. And right now, if you're in Wisconsin, you got to remember we have midterm elections happening, not midterms, but spring elections happening in 2 weeks? Yeah, 2 weeks
coming up.
And we got to there's a lot of school board races and municipal judge races, and even an appellate court judge race in Waukesha County. And there's a school board race, and especially the ones in West Dallas, Kristen Klug, is definitely important. And then there's Ali Schweitzer in Oconomowoc. Oconomowoc has gotten very interesting. The Democrats are trying like
Really?
crazy to win a bunch of school board seats there, and that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to pick off the school boards, and we need to
How
hold
it
that back.
starts. That's how they like funnel their people through. That's how you start out with school board and you just move up the ladder.
And that's why we can't stop fighting, but also we got to keep engaging people. And that's there's somebody sent me something today, and it just resonated because I talked about this earlier where I talked about I don't try to change people's minds. And there's a meme that somebody sent to me that kind of says it all. And this is my philosophy. It's my philosophy. Sorry, that was a play of a song my daughter sang for a musical thing. Anyway, but anyway, it says we cannot force someone to hear a message they are not ready to receive. We must never underestimate the power of planting a seed. And that's what we got to do. We got to plant the seeds, no matter how young. The little things matter. And if we can make a difference, if you have one person that changes their mind after hearing what you want to hear or what you want to tell them, you're in good shape. Oh, here we go. Here's another one. Kenosha County, Mark Meadows and Mark Meadows and Litz for Kenosha School Board. Yep. Amen.
But it really, and along with that, Paris, it really starts with one person at a time. Change and help influence, or at least get people involved within your area, within your sphere of influence, as was said at the Reagan Day dinner. I forgot who said that, but it's like if you want to change the party or you want to change the movement, change it at a small level and work your way up. If you want to do something, run for office. I mean, I decided that at I think 25, I plan on running for office. So that way I will have experience, learn more about the systems, learn more about the state of Wisconsin. That way I'm not just running blissfully ignorant on what goes on in my state or in my country. And really show that, hey, I'm here to fight with other people.
Hilario, AOC is a congresswoman.
I know.
And you're actually smart. So, I mean, she got elected. She had to be 25 on, whatever. But she's only,
I mean, her district, in all fairness, her district that she was running in, to what Nancy Pelosi said, a glass of water or a bottle of water with the letter D next to it probably could have won that seat if they ran. So it just depends on where I am.
What Stone's saying is the Democrats are doing right now. Boil the frog slowly, minor changes that dictates our lives. And that's what's happening. We had this crazy alderwoman in Wauwatosa who was trying to change, try to make Wauwatosa a sanctuary city. And then they changed it. Oh, we don't want a sanctuary city. We just want to change it to safe cities. And then we were able to beat that. Then it came after, we got to come after straws. That's important. Oh, we hate police. That's her, she was anti-police and all that stuff. Finally got her to quit. Thank God. Because she amazing. We found out her fake profile and her fake Twitter, and she was the most vile human being on the planet. The way she talked about our side. So I'm not one of those people. One of the things that you will never ever hear me say derogatory toward someone who's liberal if I'm having a debate. And it's like I detest the word libtard. I don't like it when people use it. It adds nothing. Insulting someone adds nothing to the conversation and to the discussion. It's childish, and it actually diminishes your point of view. Yep, that's exactly. We need to rise above it, and I don't know. It just So I won't use stuff like that because I like to engage it. I try to make friends with people. Yeah. Now, don't get me wrong. If someone's a complete ass about things, yeah, I'll take that
Mm-hmm.
knife and I'll twist it. But that's just my nature. But my
I
nature
mean,
is winning friends and influencing people.
yeah, and I think all of us, we all have friends that are on the left or Democrats, or just liberals, and that's okay. We don't have to always agree. We can agree to disagree. That's the great thing about the way this nation is set up. Look at the founding fathers; they didn't agree on everything. Hell, the Confederation of State, like that didn't even work, so they had to come back and create something entirely new,
Oh
which is this
no,
great nation.
Tracy. Tracy says, you think when they insult you, you just sit back and take it? Oh, no, 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 no. I
Oh
never
hell
said
no,
that.
no, 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 no,
Never acquiesce. Like I said,
no.
if someone's an ass, I'm going to take the knife and twist it.
Oh
And
yeah.
I'm good at it. And they're gonna love it when I do it because of the fact
Mm-hmm.
that I've talked about this on my show before, but I had and I'm gonna digress for a second. I had a date with somebody. I met her on like Bumble or something like that, and in her, we agreed we're gonna meet, and she was in Kenosha, I was in Tosa, so we were gonna meet like at Oak Creek at a restaurant. It was Water Street Brewery down there.
Right.
And just before I left, I noticed her profile, and I didn't remember seeing it, so I don't know if she added it. I'm looking for a progressive-minded man. Well, I replied to her and I said, "Hey, just so you know, I'm not progressive." And she said, "Oh, that's okay. I've got Republican friends. Blah blah blah. Let's still meet." Okay, okay. So we went and met. We get to
Mm-hmm.
the bar. We sit down at the bar. First thing out of her mouth, "Did you vote for Donald Trump?" I'm like, "Well, yeah." And she goes, "Well, how can you support enabling his misogyny?"
Oh my god.
And I'm like, I go, well, before I answer that, I said, "I might assume correctly that you voted for Hillary Clinton?" Well, she goes, "Well, yeah, of course." And I said, "Well, how can you
I
support
remember
her
this
supporting
story.
her husband's misogyny?"
Mm-hmm.
And she's just like, "Oh, that's not the same thing." And she started getting, I was like, turns out she was very woke. Why did she even bother meeting me? I was honest. I said I was conservative, whatever. And she's got so annoyed. We had a little back and forth. She said, "You know what? This date is over." And I said, "But wait,
Yeah.
we can continue the spirited discussion and just imagine the makeup sex." And she was like, "Oh, like how dare you say
I
that?
remember you
I'm
saying
so
that.
offended." Oh yeah, no, I'm an MF when I have to be. Don't, Tracy, I will never acquiesce. What I'm saying is I try to be more sophisticated. If you're having a discussion with someone, don't get into the realm of name calling.
Mm-hmm. I, I,
It
I,
just it doesn't do anything. And
yeah,
I
it's,
didn't like it when Donald Trump did it either, but I supported him. I just,
mm-hmm.
it wasn't my style, but it was his style. I never once said, "Oh, I wish he'd stop doing that." No, he wasn't
Right.
going to stop doing it because that's his
That's what he's
personality.
known for. He's the
Yeah.
Donald. It's like that's what he says. And I'm exactly the same way. If someone, because I mean I'm a fairly upfront about everything person. I don't feel like I'm out here stabbing people in the back or anything like that, or trying to manipulate people.
You're an
But
asshole,
it's
Hilario.
aren't we all? We all are.
Gotta be.
But if someone like comes at me and like stuff that I stand for or like things that I do and it's completely untrue and there's plenty of people out there that know it's untrue, I'll fight like hell to the day I die defending what I stand for and what I believe. So no one's gonna stop me. You attract more flies with sugar than sun.
uh, Jacqueline, have you had a mimosa today or something? No, sorry, I had asked. You're being feisty today.
But it's like, yeah,
No,
you just gotta
no,
stand
yeah.
up.
If you're being called in, yeah, you stand up, but just don't resort to calling them names. That's
Mm-hmm.
what I say. We bring into. I loved my favorite debater was William F. Buckley. Extremely sophisticated, extremely
Mm-hmm.
upscale kind of way, but he liked to use big words too. It's like, instead of he would say the this is such a vociferous undertaking of this youth. You know, he was a loud teenager. You know, it's like
She had to.
love you, Jackie. She's like, well, she's Italian, so she's my Mediterranean cousin. So where she gets the west side, I get the east side. So,
I really gotta send you what I got back from my result in DNA, because it's kind of all over the place and it's very interesting.
I don't. So you tell me what are you? Because you thought you were Mexican, right?
Well, I mean, my dad was, but like, so it turns out, just off the top of my head, 18% is like from indigenous Mexico area, and then another 18%, I think, was from Spain, and then another like 16% came from Germanicus Europe. And then there was other parts that were in England and France and Scotland and
So your
Northern
family
Italy.
slept around.
Yeah, we slept around. We were the players.
But everybody wants to be Greek.
Well, I don't know if I had any Greek in there. I didn't see anything in there. I had something like 1% from Cyprus. I was like, holy shit, this little island.
Nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfect. In Cyprus, Cyprus, well, it depends on who you ask. If you ask the Greeks, Cyprus is Greek. If you ask the Turks, Cyprus is Turkish.
I got 1% Cyprus then. What's up, cousin?
You're still a Mediterranean cousin. That's your best 1%. I'm going to have to teach you some Greek words then. So, all right. Well,
what about the issue of immigration? I want to get your take on that, because I know what I thought.
Like, in what respect?
Like what the Project Veritas, just like the insiders dropping everything. It's, to me, those pictures are horrendous. They remind me of the aftermath of Jonestown. All the people under the tarps.
Yep.
Go on.
Remember when President Trump, when they were going after him for basically enforcing Bill Clinton policies, but what's the one takeaway you can have from all that? The videos in there and everything else, they were showing it on TV. All the news stations were carrying a CNN. Look at this travesty, whatever. The fact of the matter is they had cameras and they were allowed in. There was complete transparency. In fact, President Trump is probably the most transparent government in our country's history. And it's just the opposite with Biden. No, there's a gag order. You're not allowed to talk to the press. You're not allowed. That's not even socialism. That's communism. Full government control of information. Yeah, I have an issue.
I have an issue with that.
Yep. Once again, all he had to do was continue the Trump policies. They were pretty sound. Keep them on your side of the border. We're not taking them.
And you had these people coming up with Biden shirts. It's like, and Ed mentioned, like he mentioned this on his show, like, where did them shirts come from? Who bought these people them shirts? Yeah, I'm sure you could have bought them online and stuff, but like, really kind of follow the money. Where is this all coming from? Is this a crisis that was created by the Dems? So like Jacqueline was saying, to get Biden out so that Kamala could get in. I mean, it's crazy.
This is exactly what's happening. I posted this. I posted this on my site earlier too, because it makes sense to me. I predicted within 2 weeks, Joe Biden is going to be forced to resign. My friend Nick actually said that he'll enact or Pelosi will enact the 26th Amendment, and Trump actually predicted that. So we'll see what happens. But I heard another take on this. Somebody had an interesting point that they are going to keep Biden on life support until the very end of the midterm elections. because they're
That's an
afraid.
interesting point.
Yeah, they're afraid that Kamala does not poll well at all.
They didn't, like you said, they didn't want her.
Yeah, she got rejected. She does not. She's arrogant. She's not intelligent when she talks. She's
a laughing maniac.
She's just a snob. She doesn't come across very well. Like, I'll make the argument. Yeah, Donald Trump is an arrogant ass. He really is. But he is also very. he's also very humble in a lot of ways. He listens to people. Where Kamala is always the smartest person in the room, and don't you forget it. That's her attitude.
Yeah,
I'm educated and I'm successful because I slept with a married man's wife and all that stuff, or whatever, however it went. But so I have, but I wouldn't say Trump is arrogant. He's more confident.
Confident is an excellent word to use in that situation.
Yeah, it ain't bragging if you can do it.
And he has every right to brag. If anyone who was in ever, I can't talk today. Anyone in U.S. politics and history, if there's any one person that has the right to brag, it's President Trump, because he proved them all wrong time and time again. It's like how,
and he can still get stuff done.
Exactly. So that's the major credit that he gets, and I really hope he decides to run again. I believe he is. The numbers are all in his favor for support, like to win the nomination of the Republican Party. And now that we kind of know what the Democrat, what their moves were during the 2020 election and the aftermath, and the fraud and stuff like that was going on, and not allowing people to be at poll observers or watching and kicking them out. We know their game. Now they can't really use it too much. They have to move on to another strategy.
And poll watchers, poll dancers, whatever polls we need to have them all in there. So,
yeah.
Yeah,
these crazy times.
It is crazy times. Well, I think that, like my peer mix puzzle. I don't know. Look at that. It's
part
fun
of it.
Stuff.
Part of it is it's like, since it's green, it's like blending in.
Oh yeah, it is. Depends on what side you're looking at. Here, let's see. It's been a while since I've done this. I used to be able to solve this in like 30 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
My son mixed it up. There we go. All right, here we go.
Oh, Ed said something. I hear there may be some Trump-backed social media platform coming in, and actually that is true. Ooh, look at that. See, I always see the cubes. I've never seen the triangle or the pyramid ones. But that is
I'm such a nerd.
I am. Me too. But the social media thing, I know the show's kind of running long. I mean, it's great. I love it. Getting my fix in. But I think one of the last things I'll say is that Trump's, the rumors of him coming out with a social media platform are true. Fox News has confirmed it. Dan Miller, an advisor to President Trump, has been talking about this for a few days now, and it should be coming in the next 2 months, I believe. So they'll probably shut it down. But you know what?
I know.
I'm here to watch the show. We're gonna have some fun. I miss Trump.
Yeah, you can't. I think he's going to have his own cable network at some point too. I think that's a possibility. And I think President Trump, I don't know, he's going to be 77 years old in 4 years?
He'll be he's 74 now. So he'll be around Biden's
78.
age. He'll be 78, which, I mean, hey, if Biden can be running around with a shot in the ass all the time.
It's happened before, but I think then it comes a question of who his running mate is. That's going to be ultra important. And I would say like a Kristi Noem or
even Ron DeSantis, looking at the CPAC.
Oh, Ron DeSantis. I'm liking.
Ron DeSantis.
I've got a man crush on that guy. Yeah. Oh, he's doing all the right things. Ron DeSantis, and then there's Tim Scott would be great. I don't know. We'll see. Or even I've always been an Ivanka Trump fan, but my Republican friends, she's a liberal. Well, you know what? That's what they said about Donald Trump as well. Yeah. They said he was a closet Democrat.
Way to get proven wrong, people. I want his family. I don't want to see them as like president, but I want to see them in Congress or governor's positions. I want to see them run for those because I feel like that they could do so much good and raise so much money, not only for the party, but for doing great things for the states and representing us in the Congress. Because I mean, I think it'd be a pretty easy win for certain areas in Florida. But then again, knowing the Democrats, look what they did in the 2020 election. So,
okay,
we'll have
here's what I have to say about that. Okay, I'm sick and tired of people bitching about the cheating. You want to know why?
Thank you.
Because of the fact you cannot win an election after the cheating has been done. You have to get it beforehand. The fact of the matter is that our incompetent state legislature did nothing when they still had 2 months of a month and a half of lame duck session.
Mm-hmm.
When Walker was still governor, they could have gotten some legislation passed to short things up. And then they could have done something after our April election. They could have done something getting it into the courts and stuff like that about not having indentured servants, or what is that? No, indefinitely confined indentured servants.
Yeah.
But indefinitely confined, all that stuff. So there were things that we could have done to prevent them from being able to cheat. So, because once the cheating's been done, it's impossible because it's a secret ballot. There's no way to say, we know that this ballot was this. There's just no way to do it. And I'm sorry. And I know it's not a popular thing to say. I'm disappointed that the Supreme Court didn't hear the arguments. But I honestly could never see the Supreme Court overturning an entire election. I don't think it would happen.
I don't know if it could happen. I don't think the Democrats would allow it to happen.
And then, and on top of that, I think that how do I say it? Oh, how do I say it? The military is not going to come in and take over. Well, first of all, Barack Obama was president for 8 years. He had a lot of time to put his own people in there. Yeah. So, if this ever got into a Civil War situation or anything like that,
like physically fighting, because I mean,
the military
that we already are.
Yeah, but the military would mostly be on the side of the federal government. I'm sorry, it's just the way it is. Most of the leadership is going to follow that.
I mean, they swore an oath to the Constitution, and whatever side is like in the federal government, whether they're good or bad, they will have that side.
And we're no longer trusting the plan. Okay, there is no plan.
Take that, cute people.
We need to focus on what we can win. And right now, what we can win are local elections and ultimately the midterm elections. And hey, maybe we can get 2/3 in both the House and Senate. It's a long shot, but it's possible. If we did that, it would render Biden irrelevant.
Lame duck presidency. Let's go.
Yep. Let's do it.
That's the focus, and I think that's what, like, at these events that are now going to start picking up. That's exactly what we need to talk about. It's all right. A lot of people ask. I saw people ask the same question over and over again to Ron Johnson. What about election fraud? What about election fraud? What are you going to do? That these people are not a legitimate government. Blah blah blah. Well, they're always. It's what we're stuck with. We got to deal with it. Let's look to these races, and we'll actually change it, turn it over legally in an election standpoint.
Yep.
So that's
I think and that's there. And everybody who wants to call the arms and do all that, I don't want to make every major city into a Beirut. I think there are still ways we may. I'm not saying it's not going to come to that. There's always a chance it could come to that. I get that. But right now, I still think there are many political options.
Oh, plenty of options.
And let's not forget, I mean, even after the Civil War, our nation was in shambles, even the North. I mean, the South was really in shambles.
Reconstruction, one, it didn't help that Abraham Lincoln was killed. We really don't know what kind of president Abraham Lincoln would have been on policy-wise, because he was a wartime president. So he didn't really have that time to set in stone issues on taxes and all that stuff, or foreign relations. He had a few foreign relations, but he was more focused on ending the war. So when Andrew Johnson took over, Reconstruction was just, it was in shambles. The North had many issues. I mean, we had all these people, now freed slaves. I mean, not that we didn't want them. We wanted them to be free, and so many of them were flocking to the North because that's where the jobs were. The South, there was many cities like Atlanta that were just decimated because of the Union coming in with General Sherman and burning it down. You had Nathan Bedford Forrest creating the Democrat Party and going not through just through the South, but through the North, terrorizing people about what way they should vote, and the whole Reconstruction issue. And then we had Indian affairs that were going on. So it was just a mess. And it wasn't until Grant came into office that things started to somewhat get settled in. Even though there was corruption within his cabinet. Was not his fault, by the way. It was the people that were surrounded by him.
Oh, come on. It was Trump's fault.
Oh, it was Trump's fault.
Yeah.
So a lot of that.
Mary Eileen Stewart is asking who you are. That would be Hilario De Leon.
He's just a nobody.
He's just a gigolo everywhere he goes. Okay, no. Anyway.
Well, I get all the ladies.
Yeah, but people in our side needs to come to terms with the fact that it wasn't all pretty roses and stuff for Black Americans when they were freed. You know, it was rough going and that type of thing. But the nice part that really helped the Black communities get through that post Civil War into Reconstruction era and all that stuff was the fact that they had really strong family units.
And very much so. And very geared towards not only family but also God. Very religious. A lot of these people they used their beliefs to kind of as hope, like things are going to get better. Things will not always be like this chaos that we are living in. But and they've gotten better, and I think the Democrats are upset that it's gotten better. And I think in the end, they want us divided, and I think that's what's happening. That's why, back to the original, I'm going to reel it in a little bit. Back to the original, one of the original topics. The fact of the matter is, we can't be divided. We can't treat the other side as the enemy. There are people on that side who very much are so.
Who deserve to be poverty stricken and on the streets, but there are people. Most of the people I think are inherently good people, and quite frankly, and I'm talking Democrats, Republicans, and I'm talking anything else. But there are patriots who are Democrat, and I think and just like to the Democrats out there, the Republicans aren't a bunch of rich racist either. It's like,
I'm not rich. I'm not racist.
Well, and it's Yoda's talking here. Oops.
Yoda wants to get in on this.
Yeah, he wants to get in on it. All his wisdom. All right. Well, anyway, we're getting all over the place, far afield. This was supposed to be a 1 hour show. Thanks a lot, Hilario, for making it an hour and a half. I appreciate it.
Oh, of course, anytime. I appreciate being on the show and really diving deep into some of these great topics. And as always, thank you again, Paris, and thank you everyone for participating and chatting and giving me a warm welcome back onto the show.
And we had our own very own coffee war. We're going to have a night when we're going to have Jackie and Ed Delgado on, so we can have the coffee wars. I want to.
The great coffee war of 2021.
You know what's funny, and I miss these days, and I wish, someone made a comment about what I said the other day. Yeah, you owned the audience. I opened up my short speech with, I'm just so happy, 14 days to flatten the curve. And the audience laughed. My job is to make people laugh and have some fun. We need levity in government as well. This is back probably before you were born. There was a big debate between the senators, and I remember this because I was living in New Mexico at the time. Senator Pete Domenici, I think it was John McCain of Arizona, Pete Domenici of New Mexico, and there was a senator from Texas. They literally had a floor debate, and you know, the Republicans and Democrats. Domenici was a Democrat, McCain was a Republican, and I don't remember who the other guy, it was like Hollings or someone like that. They had a debate on the floor of the United States Senate as to which state had the best chili. It was a literal, I mean, we're talking
what year was
procedures
this?
point. This was probably like 1980.
Oh, I was born in 2000, so way before I was born.
Yeah. Yeah, well before you were born. But it was fun because these people, even though they were on opposite sides of the aisle, they respected each other. We don't have that respect anymore, that mutual respect. I mean, even you look back at Reagan and Tip O'Neill. Tip O'Neill was the Speaker of the House back under Reagan. You know, Tip O'Neill was a tyrant. He was, you know, he was there, but he and Reagan had a sort of etiquette, a sort of unspoken
an unspoken respect towards one another.
Exactly. We even saw it under Newt Gingrich and Bill Clinton, even though they were on opposite sides. I have to say probably the best team in my lifetime was the Clinton Gingrich team. They got a lot of stuff done together. You know, like it or not, you know, and we didn't know about Clinton's other dark side during that time, but it just we don't have that mutual respect. In the end, you got to do the work of the people. But on the flip side, I also recognize that this is, people talk about gridlock and how's this bad thing or whatever like that. It's how our government's designed. It's designed to make it difficult to pass things. That's why we need to do something, and we need to amend the Constitution on executive orders and what they can do. The dangerous part of executive orders, and that I was pissed at Trump for doing this as well. Trump, Bush, Obama, Clinton, Bush. I hate executive orders, but you know, Obama and Bush did a lot of executive orders, and so did Trump. When you rule by executive order, everything can be changed by executive order. I mean, that was our saving grace. The fact that Obama governed through executive order his last few years gave President Trump the ability to remove those regulations and stuff like that. But unfortunately, it was done through executive order because the Republican-controlled Congress was incompetent. We got maybe 3 bills passed. Everything else was that way. So that's why that's why we have to have, we need to get back to legislating, and it's not happening.
And if we get Trump back in there with the amount of executive orders that Biden has just done
already,
it's just already, I mean, there's probably more to come, but those, when Trump gets back in, they're gone. So not only will he get rid of Obama's, but Biden's as well. So it's kind of like, let's just hope.
Only if we have a good Congress. You know, it's going to take a little time for that to happen, and nothing happens overnight. People have got to be patient, and we've got to fight the local battles. That's where it matters, because the local battles are going to matter over time. Where in the end, presidential governments come and go. There was an economist, and he's a very well-respected economist. I actually think he's conservative, but when you look at historical trends of our U.S. economy, the difference between administrations, no matter how liberal or how conservative it is, it's pretty insignificant.
Yeah.
In the end, we're in this pattern where it's like this, up and down. You know, when there's a depression, it doesn't take that much of a dip. You know, the Great Depression wasn't a huge, there were a lot of millionaires during the Great Depression who made lots of money in the Depression.
Mm-hmm.
and so on and so forth. The problem is, I think our unemployment was like 30% or something like that. It was really bad.
And that's what they look
Um,
at.
Yep. And our economy was pretty strong at the onset of Corona. Thank goodness it was. If it wasn't, I could imagine how bad Corona would have been had Obama been president, when he had different economic policies. And
Just
and you got a lot of conservatives who are like, I'm so mad at these handouts for people. It's like, you know what? They lost their job through no fault of their own, and there's no free market. When the free market was killed, the government had to step in. They didn't like it, but they had no choice.
What
it was a lot different than
what conservatives and Republicans should be mad about is all the add-ons, all the pork that is stuffed into these
but I had
stimulus checks. And
I had a
stuff
discussion. I had a discussion with my aunt about that last night. She goes, "Ian, doesn't matter if it's a Republican or a Democrat. That's just the way government's done.
Yeah,
get used to it." And she's almost 70 years old, and this is what it's the way it's always been in her time and stuff like that. People don't like it. It's how our government's designed. Yeah, I'd love it to just be, here's the subject, here's the bill, up or down.
Yeah.
Instead, there are all these omnibus bills, and I'm not thrilled with them either. So the fact is, you've got to get as much as you can to offset as much good as you can to offset the bad, and in the end,
that's what we got to do. We just got to add that stuff in, because they won't like it, and they'll stop it from going out. So maybe we could get something better than what they sent before.
Yeah. So I'm starting to be more pragmatic about things, but my big thing is we got to engage. We got to engage our people, and we got to engage their people. We got to engage Democrats. Have a conversation, have a discussion, have a debate, but be respectful. There's some people you can't. There's some people you're just not going to be able to debate. They're hateful, naturally hateful people. I wouldn't want to debate, Joy Behar, because she's a major C word. I'll leave it at that.
She's a character.
No. Yeah, that's it. She's the personification of that one word that I dare not say. And my entire show, almost an hour, a little over an hour and a half of a show, get removed from Twitter because I said that word. But she's, there's some people that are just hateful in their heart. And quite honestly, there's some people on the Republican side who are just as bad as she is, who are, if we, the ancient, we've been dealing with this since the ancient Greeks. The ancient Greeks started civil discourse. The term idiot comes from people, idiotis. It's somebody who does not participate in the polis. It's basically someone who's ignorant and doesn't do anything.
Yep.
I look back at the Scott Walker recall, and it was the year anniversary, and I got a call from Jenna Sachs from Fox 6, and she said, "Hey, Paris, would you want to do an interview?" Because she remembered me from back then. And she's absolutely beautiful. Oh, she's not single though, dang it. No, but she and she asked me the question. She goes, "So is there still as much hatred as there was?" And it's like, hatred? There was no hatred.
Yeah.
I said, and this was actually a good thing. The silver lining in all of this is that people who didn't normally participate in elections participated in elections on both sides. That's a good thing, because there was like 60% turnout. It was a big turnout election, and our side turned out, their side turned out, we won, and it was nice to see. But you got to look for the positive things, and that's what it is.
Yeah.
We want people participating. We don't want idiots. We want people being involved, and have those discussions. Because I'm not saying everything the conservatives say is 100% right either.
No.
I know I like it because that's what I agree with. But I recognize we aren't a country of Republicans. We're a country of Americans. And there's going to be a lot of differing opinions. Even on the Republican side, there's a lot of differing variations of what republicanism means to somebody.
Right.
You know, I've got a libertarian bend in some of my Republican ideology and stuff like that. You know, I agreed with Bernie Sanders on tariffs and stuff like, you know, actually he and Donald Trump agreed on that.
Yep.
Believe it or not, even Bernie had a.
So there's always some sort of common ground we can find.
Except against Nancy Pelosi. Never will we have common ground with her.
That lady. Don't even get me started.
Yeah. I've lost all respect for her. When she won the speakership and stuff like that, I didn't agree with her policy wise, but I had some respect for her because she was like, she knew how to get shit done. She was able, she knew her strategies got them the majority and all that. You know, okay, kudos. She did it. I don't like it, but I can respect it. You know, Bernie Sanders, always have a degree of respect for him because he's honest about what he wants.
Yeah.
He may call it different names, but he likes socialism and he wants the government to do this and to do that. You know, I get that, but he doesn't sit and lie about who he is.
Like Elizabeth Warren.
Yeah, exactly. Donald Trump, I love that about Donald Trump. Donald Trump is like, this is me, take it or leave it. We need more politicians like Donald Trump. And what I hope Donald Trump inspires a lot more non-politicians to run. Yeah. And that's ultimately what it is. You know, maybe I'll run for something. We'll see.
You know what? You need to run. I will say it right here on this show. Like I say it all the time in the chat. I want to see Paris run for some position. You live in where do you live again? You just moved.
I just moved, but I'm not gonna publicly say where I'm at.
Okay, well, wherever you are, run for some sort of office because you would do excellent. And you know what? Ed, I'm calling you out. I think you should run for mayor of your like hometown or something. I think that would be fun to see.
And we need more hair on the chest in society, except on the women. We got to have the hairy chest. It's a Greek thing. Yes. Yasupedakias. All right, Hilario, I've got to cut you loose. It is time to bid you farewell. So long, farewell, albidos, and good night, or whatever.
Good night, everyone.
Talk to you later, Hilario.
Talk to you later.
That's Hilario De Leon. And thank you for coming. All right. Yay. He was fun. Okay. Yep. Jackie, Donald Trump inspired so many people to run that would ever thought of running before. Yeah, we have moved back to our post for running passion instead of being part of career politicians. And that's exactly the whole point. Whenever somebody asked me about Scott Walker, that was my only issue I had with Scott Walker. Well, a couple other ones, but for the most part, you know, I was always a supporter all the way till the end. And it was the fact that he was a professional politician. That's all he's ever done. And that's in reality, I think he started out like Red Cross at the Red Cross doing something or whatever. But he's a politician, and that's the problem. These politicians are so in their little circle political arena that they don't know the real world. And that's why we need more people who understand the real world. Donald Trump knew the real world. Yeah, he was a billionaire playboy from New York City. I get that, but he also took the time he could relate to people. We need more people that can relate to people. And we got to stop being asses to the other side. I'm not saying acquiesce. Stick to your guns. Stand your ground, but give them information. What good is it having a really good message if they never hear the message? Focus on that. Focus on communicating the message. And then if and when they choose to listen to that message, they're going to find out, holy cow, I'm conservative. And that's a good thing. So, well, this was my impromptu Paris Procopus Unscripted. I hope I got to everything I wanted to say. It was as always, it's definitely a pleasure. Thank you all for all your discussion and everything. I'm going to read this one more time just because it's so eloquent. We cannot force someone to hear a message they are not ready to receive, but we must never underestimate the power of planting a seed. Remember that. Let's start planting seeds. Even if you're not running for office, write a letter to the editor. Write on the patches. You got Wauwatosa patch. You got Brookfield patch. I think you've got Washington County patch. Write an article. Write Wisconsin Conservative Digest. Write one on our website. I would gladly post it for you. There's always outlets. All right, everybody. Thanks again for joining me. I will see you guys on Monday night. I'll see you guys on Wednesday night. Hopefully, if all goes well. All right. Thank you all for watching, and please share this with your friends at Paris Procopus on Twitter, at Paris Procopus on Parler, and all these other places, and obviously look me up on YouTube. I don't have enough of a following yet on YouTube. I have a few hundred on YouTube now, but I got to get to 1,000 followers before I can get my own YouTube / Paris Procopus domain. All right. Stay confident out there and engage. Do not cancel the other side. They still need to hear our message. And as they hear it, our side will grow. And if our side grows, we can offset any of the shenanigans that are happening on the other side. All right. Good night, everybody. Talk to you soon. Bye.